How this president and his campaign have used scare tactics, class warfare, and blatant lies to win this November. But it gets worse. Now, this president was supposed to move our country beyond years of racial division. Remember, he spoke of one America. But despite his promises of hope and change that got him into the White House, this nation has never seen racial rhetoric used to the extent that we have seen in recent years.
There is not a black America and a white America and Latino America and Asian America. There's the United States of America.
A powerful declaration from the president, but it's soaring language like this that got him a seat in the Oval Office. But 8 years later, those words of unity, that promise of one nation, has turned racially divisive. Race has become a tool, a method to incite fear among the president's largest voting bloc and get them to get out and vote come November.
You can't just trot out a brown face or a Spanish surname and expect that people are going to vote for your party or your candidate.
More than any other administration in recent history, the president's campaign and the soldiers on the left are resorting to attacking Republicans with racist accusations.
It is the most vicious scare tactics that are being used, and they're using any means necessary to get out the vote and to inspire that record turnout that the president had in 2008 to try to gin it up for 2012.
All the grand promises that this man ushered in 4 years ago, and yeah, I think a lot of them do want to stay home. And yes, I certainly think that the Democrat Party is going to stoke as much hatred, fear, and bigotry to try and get them to go to the polls.
Now, sometimes the language is subtle, just a change in intonation. Vice President Biden is an expert in this.
Unchain Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Now, while some Democrats take the more subtle approach, others hammer with blatant racist language.
Now you have the Republicans who want to literally drag us all the way back to Jim Crow laws and literally and very transparently block access to the polls.
Let's be real clear about it. Mitt Romney is speaking to a group of people out there who don't like folks like President Barack Obama in any elective or leadership position. He's speaking to that fringe out there who do not want to see anybody other than a white person in a leadership position. I absolutely believe it's all about race, and for the first time in my life, I've been able to convince my children finally that racism is alive and well.
And just when you think the rhetoric has reached a fever pitch, well, it somehow manages to get even worse.
The Republicans hate black people, and to all the black people that are Republicans, I ask you on this day, this 12th day of August 2012, I ask you this day, when did you lose your dignity and lay down for these damn crackers who mean this black community no good? They've shown this. Their history has shown this. So if white people are mad because I continue to call them crackers, on the day that you stop referring to me as a and representing my black people as a and treating my black community as a I'm able to out of my damn pinky toe let up off your own. But other than that, you better believe my foot on your.
But is it really surprising that we are seeing these types of scare tactics? Now, a look back in recent history shows that this political tool is a tired old strategy readily featured in the Democratic playbook. In July of 1998, speaking at an NAACP convention, then presidential candidate Al Gore struck the racial chords with this comment.
They are in favor of affirmative action if you can dunk the basketball or sink a three-point shot. But they're not in favor of it if you merely have the potential to be a leader in your community and bring people together and lift people up and make this a better country. Don't tell me we've got a colorblind society.
And back in 2006, when NAACP chairman alleged that Republicans' idea of equal rights is the American flag and Confederate swastika flying side by side. And then look back at political ads. There was no mistake which message Democrats were trying to send with these two ads.
When you don't vote, you let another church explode. When you don't vote, you allow another cross to burn. When you don't vote, you let another assault wound a brother or sister. When you don't vote, you let the Republicans continue to cut school lunches and Head Start.
On June 7, 1998, in Texas, my father was killed. He was beaten, chained, and then dragged 3 miles to his death, all because he was black. So when Governor George W. Bush refused to support hate crimes legislation, it was like my father was killed all over again.
Now, while the 2008 race and election of President Obama should have ended any signs of racial divide, perhaps there was some foreshadowing of the role that race would play 4 years later. And despite President Obama denying any use of the race card, he himself was a first defender when he brought his race to the forefront on the campaign trail back in 2008.
So what they're going to try to do is make you scared of me. You know, he's not patriotic enough. He's got a funny name. He doesn't look like all those other presidents on those dollar bills.
And it was that election when former President Bill Clinton accused the Obama campaign of playing the race card against him and having planned to do so from the very beginning.
I think that they played the race card on me. And we now know from memos from the campaign and everything that they plan to do it all along.
And just in case race and politics weren't completely leading the national discourse, President Carter decided he would grab headlines by hurling these offensive allegations against Republicans.
I think an overwhelming portion of the intensely demonstrated animosity toward President Barack Obama is based on the fact that he is a black man, that he's African American.
I, Barack Hussein Obama, do solemnly swear.
But at a time when voting the first African-American president into office should have brought the nation together and unified the one America that President Barack Obama once spoke about, we seem to have taken several steps back in time.
For President Obama and friends of President Obama and staff of President Obama to play the race card is not only unhealthy for our democratic republic and unhealthy for our country, it is a betrayal of the very reason that the people of the United States elected him to be president in the first place.
When Obama asks, are we better off than we were 4 years ago? We certainly are not. I think if you look at the inflammatory rhetoric that Obama's operatives have used against their well-meaning and good faith political opponents, things have gotten way worse.
And why are these racial lines being drawn yet again? Liberals have chosen to put politics ahead of progress, politics ahead of real civility. But will it work?
It's been a horrible reality for Americans of all colors. And I think ultimately that's what's going to win or lose this election.
The president has no choice but to appeal to the lowest common denominator and to try to win this election by getting out his base. I don't think that will work.
And coming up, the mainstream media has always been in the pocket for President Obama, but their biased reporting during the 2012 presidential race has reached new heights. We expose their hidden agenda and how they are trying to take down Governor Romney. That's coming up next.